Most of our UFO stories occur in the backwoods or in the middle of bumfuck nowhere. But today, we get a real-life abduction story in the heart of New York City. Sort of. We meet Linda Napolitano and learn about her creepy encounter in the fall of 1989. We'll discuss her connection to UFO researcher Bud Hopkins and her bizarre interactions with two weird dudes. And then look at some glaring similarities between Linda's story and a 1980s science fiction novel. I'm Mike.
I'm Ian.
And I'm Dave. If you've ever been involuntarily pushed through your bedroom window at night by aliens, stick around. Because as you know, it can definitely be a real pain. This is Necronomipod.
Dave, how was Wisconsin?
It was fun. I'm a big fan. I've never been to Milwaukee before. Spent the weekend, went to the Miller Valley Brewery tour.
AKA Heaven.
Yeah, paid my respects to old Frederick Miller. Drank some beer. Very cool. Ate a lot of cheese curds. At one point, it was like 5 o'clock, and the only thing I had all day was Miller Lite and like cheese curds at 3 different bars. I'm like, this is awesome.
Sounds like the
love
perfect day.
Wisconsin.
It's a great day. Was it like this? Did you get the squeaky cheese curds or like the fried?
No, they were
Wisconsin.
all fried, deep fried.
Do you have any good brats or hot dogs?
I had some brats, yeah.
Nice. What'd you put on it? What was the toppings?
Some mustard.
Just some mustard.
Mustard
Just
and
straight
onions.
up, simple.
Mustard and onions, sure. Little
and
crowd,
onions.
little crowd actually.
Oh,
too.
wow. Let's start with mustard. Now we're at onions and kraut.
It was a sampler platter. I was trying to remember what was all on there. Yeah.
A sampler platter of brats?
Kibasi, brats.
Wow.
Cheese curds.
That's the fucking life, man.
That sounds good.
Yeah, it was a good
wanna
time.
Move to Wisconsin.
It was a fun town.
I've always heard Milwaukee's great. I don't think I've ever spent really much time there.
Yeah, no, I'd never been there. I liked it a lot. I was watching, went to a place downtown watching the Guardians game. And obviously every TV was on the Wisconsin football game, and they were like, hey, what are your thoughts on changing this TV to some Cleveland baseball?
This one little TV pulls in the corner.
Very accommodating. Though,
They're like, fuck off, asshole.
but it's the Midwest. Like, it's just great hanging out in the Midwest.
Yeah.
Anywhere. It's completely different.
You feel at home.
Yeah, it's different than being in New York City or anywhere on the East Coast. It's just, Midwest is awesome.
Or anywhere on the West Coast where it's just horrible and you just hope that one day an earthquake just gets rid of that, right?
It wouldn't go quite that far, but
Well, that's what I pray for at night.
Midwest is just super cool. Always.
Did Wisconsin win?
I don't know. I wasn't watching it.
I mean, you didn't
even tell you.
You didn't hear the cheers or
man.
jeers?
No way.
Okay.
It was game 5 in Cleveland.
All right. It certainly was.
Was not paying attention at all. A lot of cool stuff, though. Highly recommend.
All right, so everyone out there, put Milwaukee on your bucket list. Places to visit.
Definitely.
You mentioned New York City before, just a minute ago. Midwest is a little different, not the hustle and bustle.
Sure.
This is like the first abduction story, alien story that's like in the heart of a major city. This isn't like bumfuck country people.
Everybody always says, why don't they abduct somebody right in the middle of the city?
I always say that. Sure.
Here you go.
Yeah,
This is the story.
My prayers have been answered.
Yep.
Thank you, God.
Thank you for giving us the story from 1989.
I mean, to be fair, what I meant was, why doesn't it go plop down in Times Square when there's 20,000 people walking around? But it's close enough, I think.
Baby steps. We'll get there.
Absolutely. I like this story. I think it's neat.
It's a big one. It's
a thing.
Yeah, it's in that like I don't know, like the second or third layer of UFO stories. Like if you start getting into this stuff, you start with Roswell, and then as you go and get in deeper.
Peel back the onion. You're
Yeah. You get to this one. You're like, this is a story for sure.
Somebody told this. Somebody said this happened.
A lot of the regular players we're familiar with are in here. MUFON's in here.
Well, obviously. We wouldn't even be talking about it if MUFON wasn't a part of it. MUFON gives the story credibility.
Bud Hopkins is the main.
Bud Hopkins.
He is the researcher behind this.
Just missing a little Philip Klass.
Philip Klass, actually, he did push back on this really fucking hard. He was not.
Of course, he did.
Yeah, he was not a fan of this story.
He never is.
Philip Klass to UFO abduction stories is Jim Cornette to any modern day pro wrestling. He's gonna hate it all, and he's gonna tell you all about it.
Yeah.
Rest in piss, Philip Klass. That's what I say.
That's what Ian says too, incidentally. I think he has that tattooed on his lower back.
It'd be funny. He lifted up his shirt and there's like a full back piece. Rest in piss, Philip Klass. The guy's full portrait picture.
Yeah, that's why he's the president of MUFON.
It's like the tattoo's Ian pissing on his head in his coffin,
Like it's
being
getting more
buried.
and more elaborate.
Like those shitty Calvin and Hobbes
That's right.
bumper stickers. So in April of 1989, Bud Hopkins received a letter from Linda Napolitano. Linda was a seemingly normal housewife from New York City's Lower East Side. In the letter, Linda wasn't talking about alien abductions specifically. Instead, she talked about a small bump near her nose that had been bothering her for years. Back in 1976, a doctor told Linda that to him it looked like she had had surgery on her nose at some point in her life. Linda said she never had any surgeries. She checked with her mother. Mother's like, hey, nothing ever happened. Linda picked up Bud's 1987 book, Intruder. That's the one on the Copley Woods UFO abduction incident.
Yeah,
That we did
I
a whole
recall.
episode on that one.
Two-parter.
That was a long one.
That was a wild story.
That's where Linda got the idea to reach out for Bud. And Bud responded to her and was like, I don't know if the bump in your nose is alien related or not, but you're welcome to attend these abduction support group meetings that I hold. Happens that he lives in New York City as well. So they're both in New York.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Did Betty Hill have that bump on her nose? Because I was thinking maybe it could be cocaine related. She also displayed this.
Betty Hill, known cocaine user.
That's what you taught me, Mike.
Per
I'm
my
going with it.
research. I had a meeting with Phil. I had to sit down with Philip Klass and we discussed Betty and Barney Hill. And
It's all right.
that's what the conclusion we came to. Barney's a swell guy. Just wanted to dress nice. He wanted to take Delcy for walks. And he didn't need all that.
Probably ruined his life.
I've heard those tapes. It did ruin his life.
Is Angela Hill still around?
Never heard of him.
Yeah, she fought not too long ago.
One of my earliest dreams on this show, after I figured out who Angela Hill was that she would get wind of Mike talking shit about Betty and like challenge him to a fight and then whoop the shit out of him.
In all of her posts, though, like she's talked about this. She only ever mentions Barney Hill.
Maybe he had a family beforehand or something.
Or maybe she realizes Betty was no good. She was up to something. Ruined his good name.
There's still time. I'm holding out hope that she finds out who you are.
She's like stuck in this spot where she fights really, really close fights and ends up on the losing end of split decisions. It's like her last 3 fights have been really
And then just
close.
never advances. Yeah.
Maybe she should fight Mike.
What
do they use?
If she wants another split decision loss, then she should.
What do they use in the UFC? Like 6-ounce gloves?
I don't.
Something. They're light.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe 2-ounce gloves with Mike. bare knuckle brawl.
Jesus. Oh boy. No.
And just a little background on Bud real quick, in case people that are listening to this haven't listened to our Copley Woods episode. Bud was a pretty well-to-do painter in New York City that got interested in the abduction phenomena.
Like an art painter or a house painter?
An art painter.
Okay.
Yeah. He was
couldn't
born
remember.
in Wheeling, West Virginia.
Oh.
Became a like I said, a well-to-do kind of fancy artist. He was in the art world and stuff. Got interested in UFOs and then taught himself how to do hypnosis.
Yeah.
And, he became one of the lead researchers in UFOs.
Self-taught.
Yeah. I have the Hypnosis for Dummies book upstairs.
Yeah.
I was trying to get my wife to let me practice on her. She's like, the fuck out of here. You think I'm an idiot? And also, I'm just going to come out and say it. Can you honestly take anyone named Bud seriously? I mean, their name's Bud.
Is that a birth name or is that like a nickname? Like but in general, like I didn't know if Bud
My rule
was short.
stands either way. I don't.
Well, I think that's pretty fair.
If you go by Bud, I'm not sure I can take you seriously. Hey, Bud, let's party.
Isn't it? I always think of, isn't it Bud from Married with Children? Isn't that the son's name?
Bud Bundy.
Bud Bundy. Yeah. That's what I think of when I think of Bud.
So Bud Hopkins, that is his middle name. His first name is Elliot.
Oh, no, that's a good name.
Yeah.
Elliot Hopkins?
That's
that sounds
distinguished. That's
yeah.
a painter there.
Yeah.
Elliot Bud Hopkins.
Elliot. That gives that grants you immediate, I don't know, legitimacy.
Aristocracy.
If your name's something, yeah. If your name's Elliot.
Also, if you're the parents, you have the great name Elliot Hopkins. You're like, Bud.
Well, he's from Wheeling, West Virginia. And they're like, well, gotta name him after Pa so we can call him Elliot, but he got to be Bud in the middle name. Gots to be.
That might be right. All right. Elliot Hopkins taught himself hypnosis.
All right. Now I trust him a little bit more.
See?
I like that.
All of a sudden, this story's got some good credibility.
Transformation right before our eyes. I like it. Is he still alive, Bud Hopkins?
No.
We just found Dave's Keith. He hates Bud. He hates this name.
Bud. It's just dumb, Bud.
So Linda went to these meetings. She sat and listened to Bud and the abductees share their stories, and nothing stood out to her. Everyone was talking about the Greys and things that we've talked about here on the show, but nothing rang a bell for Linda. That was until November 30th, 1989. That day kicked off what Bud called, in his book, Witnessed, the alien abduction of the century. But it's not just involving aliens. It gets into government agents, high-profile politicians. Like we said, this is certainly a story.
Can we pause just for a second and level set? So in April, this housewife says, I have this weird bump on my nose. Let me reach out to famed UFO researcher Bud Hopkins.
Mm-hmm. We both live in New York City, happened.
Yeah, and read his book Intruder about an alien abduction in Copley Woods. Then 7 months later, after attending his meetings / workshop, however you want to frame it, something is going to happen to her as well.
Yeah, that's right, Dave.
Okay.
That's where we're at.
Okay.
That timeline is perfect. Something's wrong here.
Just want to make sure I was on track.
On the night of November 30th, 1989, everything seemed normal for Linda. She did her usual things. She put her kids to bed, cleaned up the house, and got ready for bed. Her husband was asleep next to her as she settled in for the night in their apartment on the Lower East Side of New York City. They were on the 12th floor, so pretty high up.
Any coitus before they went to sleep? You're not sure. It's okay.
No.
You don't need that information. I was just curious.
Probably.
Fuck yeah.
Around 3 a.m., Linda woke up suddenly. She's not sure why. The room was quiet. Her husband was still sleeping, but something felt off, like she wasn't alone. Her heart started racing, and she looked toward the foot of her bed. In the dim light, she saw a small, thin figure with a large head and big black eyes, standing silently, just staring at her.
That's pretty jarring. Why is it always 3 a.m.? Like, that's the witching hour kind of thing. That's a trope.
I was going to bring that up later on in the episode. It's a little suspicious.
It's a bit of a trope, I think, right? I say that, but I often wake up at 3 a.m. like wide awake for no reason.
Really?
Yeah. So that's real. That happens to me all the time.
And 20 minutes later, you're up for the day.
Yeah, a lot of times I get up. I'm absolutely wide awake. Like it's the middle of the day.
You're one of the few people I know that is up before the morning news even starts.
Yeah, and I get irritated.
Like the morning
sometimes.
news is like 4 a.m. and you're like waiting.
I'm waiting. I'm like, come on, I don't know what's going on in Cleveland today.
It's like the older days when like people would be up before the newspapers were even delivered. And you're like waiting for the newspaper.
Yeah,
Like,
where's that fucking kid? Where's my paper?
because then it robs you of that Tony Soprano moment, right? When you walk out in your robe down the driveway and pick up the paper and open it up right there.
Yeah.
That's the good life
the old
back in the
days,
day.
yeah.
That's the way to do it.
That's classic Americana right there.
My newspaper now comes in the mail at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So what I do is when I go get it, I just drop it in my driveway and I go in my house and I change into my boxer shorts, a tank top, and a robe. And then I walk out at 2:15.
Yeah, there you go.
Strutting that ass. And then I pick up the newspaper and I stand there as the school bus is going by. And I'm just like, well, it is what it is, kids. I'm just trying to get today's daily news.
It's a classic move.
Yeah.
Not the Carhartt.
It's a power move.
You put a robe on, not the Carhartt.
It depends on the temperature,
Yeah,
but I like the robe look better. And it's-
Silk robe?
No, just an Amazon buy.
terry cloth type setup. Sure.
Very thin, very comfortable. Yeah. It's a power move. You project power doing that.
Is it though?
If you're standing in your driveway in a robe looking at the newspaper, people are like, that man is connected. It's a connected man. Yep.
So Linda was frozen, and she was thinking that she's got to be having a bad dream or something. She tried to scream, but nothing came out. Her voice was stuck, like something was stopping her from yelling for help. She turned to her husband, trying to wake him up, but he didn't move. Like he was in an unnatural sleep, like something was preventing him from waking up. Then suddenly a voice that wasn't human spoke in Linda's mind. It wasn't coming from the figure, but she heard it clearly. It just said, "Shut up." These aliens.
Shut up. No need to be rude. You're on our planet, sir. I know Eisenhower said you could probe and kidnap people, but you can be nice about it. Jeez.
Shut up.
Asshole aliens.
Real dicks in this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not the type that are like the Betty Hill type. They're like, calm down.
Do you think it's because they're New York City aliens, so they're just fucking rude by nature?
Maybe.
Oh! Shut the fuck up! I'm abducting you! Ow! Get in the fucking UFO! What's the matter? Quit poking around! Get the fuck up there! I got penne pasta on the stove!
Penne pasta.
So when this being told her to shut up, she said that she felt just pure dread. And at that point, she realized that she couldn't move, that she was completely paralyzed. The only thing that wasn't paralyzed on Linda was her eyes. So her eyes were darting around the room, trying to figure out what was going on. And a bright blue light filled the room.
No. Absolutely
Sleep
not.
paralysis. That is
a fucking terrifying thing.
There's
It's like waking up in surgery under anesthesia where you're fully conscious and however people describe that.
There's jokes to be had about this story, but the way that she describes this part is super scary.
Yeah. Oof.
She said that it wasn't like a lamp or like moonlight, but she said it was cold, intense, and it seemed to come from outside her window. The light wrapped around Linda, and she felt an invisible force lift her off the bed and toward the window. As she was floating toward her apartment window, Linda curled up into the fetal position. But it's like almost as if whatever was causing the paralysis was too strong, because her body was contorting into the fetal position. Like her limbs were twisted that way. Like it was a painful, like just like crunching up.
Contortion, like a forced fetal maneuver or something. Ugh.
I think horror movie, like just crunching up and you can't move. Your eyes are just darting around.
No, thank you.
It reminds me kind of this is like a serious type thing. When I was, I think it was in London at the Holocaust Museum, and they were showing videos of the kind of scientific research that the Germans were doing on people when they would lock them in the boxes and like deprive them of oxygen and stuff. And their bodies would start moving and kind of contorting and being manipulated in certain ways. And they're locked in these little coffins having like the oxygen, taken out of it. And it was terrifying to see. And that's what it reminded me of with this.
Yeah.
Like you guys said, like the story is what it is, but like this part, that's fucked up.
That is my worst nightmare. Like the worst thing I could ever think of, being confined in a small box and not, can't breathe and can't move. Like absolutely not. I would slit my own throat to get out of that.
Dave, when you die, we're just going to have a big Necronomicon party and we'll burn your body over an open fire, have a keg of beer.
That's fine.
Have brats there.
Yeah.
And hot dogs. Maybe a build your own omelet bar, I'm thinking.
Can't go wrong with that. Fuck, that sounds great.
Maybe like a bagel bar.
You can't throw this party for me now?
We'll have some locks and capers for a bagel bar.
Come on.
He's like, no, I want this now.
My birthday's coming up. Why don't you have this party this year? Why you gotta wait?
Well, I just meant to say you're not going to be locked in a box under my watch.
I appreciate
I'll
that.
be sure of that. I'll fucking cane that casket with an axe like he did to The Undertaker at the Royal Rumble in 1998 from Fresno, California. I don't think it was Fresno. I'm embarrassed by that one. That's wrong. Go ahead.
So Linda passed through her window like it wasn't there. She found herself floating above New York City. Because she was contorted in a fetal position, she wasn't flat on her back, so she could see all of the cars and whatnot driving below. Then she noticed the beings. There were 2 below her and 1 above her. They were guiding Linda up toward a craft. The blue light was coming from a gigantic oyster-shaped craft hovering above the city. It had no windows, just lots of colorful lights blinking on and off. The craft opened like a clam and pulled Linda and the 3 beings inside. Some artwork out there of this whole scenario, how this is taking place. Yeah.
So abducted into an oyster and clam ship. That's pretty shellfish of them, isn't it? Do you think they had to rub the top of that clam shape to open the ship, Mike? Is that how it works?
Well, it certainly wouldn't hurt, would it?
Ring the bell at the top of the clam there.
Well, that
makes it open.
There's no bell. There's no bell.
There's no bell.
No. You just rub up against it real hard for about 20 to 30 minutes, and then it opens up. If you just kind of wedge your way in there. Minimal chafing on that ship.
No lube needed.
Nope.
At that point, Linda found herself in a plain white room. It felt cold and empty, like a super high-tech hospital room. The 3 beings moved her to a metal table in the middle of the room. She still couldn't move or speak. Linda wanted to scream, but nothing came out. The beings showed no emotion as they worked on her. One of them stuck a thin metal rod up Linda's nose, and she said that it was a pain that hit like lightning. Then everything went black, and she passed out. When she came to, Linda was back in her bed, and it was 5 a.m. The blue light was gone, the gray beings. Her husband was still sleeping, and so she wrote it off as a bad dream. But as the day went on, she couldn't shake how real it felt, so she reached out to Bud Hopkins, to which Bud suggested that they do some hypnosis regression sessions to figure out what happened.
Smart. Good call, Bud.
I mean, that's what you have to do, right? That's the only thing you can do in UFO stories.
Have to.
Self-educated Bud on his hypnosis.
What if this happens to everybody? And dreams are just electrical implants, so we don't remember this happens to us. But every now and then, it doesn't work on some people, and they remember all of it. What if that's what reality is?
I think you've brought that up before, or we've discussed that before.
That means it's real then.
I'm fine
If
with
I
that.
say it twice, then that's the true story.
I feel like you're a patsy for the aliens. I mean, if it doesn't affect my day-to-day life, I don't care.
You don't care what people do to you at night?
I guess.
All right. You heard them, ladies.
I'm not waking up with a hurt bunghole. I'm not waking up with bumps in my nose.
Yet.
Or like,
Yeah.
that's what I mean. Like, don't fuck it up then. Aliens, you got a good thing going. Don't ruin it. You want to, date rape my Miller Lite and do whatever you want to me in the middle of the night? Fine. It is what it is.
Just keep his bunghole intact.
Don't mess with the bunghole.
Maybe it is somewhere in dreams and that whole idea, like how it's more of a mental thing. Like Like we talked about earlier, a week or so ago, about how like a dream, you can sleep for 20 minutes, but the dream feels like it's an hour.
Yeah.
And then like some abduction stories.
That was on our listener paranormal.
Yeah.
We had a lot of dreaming talk on that one.
And like there are theories about how the abduction phenomena is more of a mental thing. So maybe it is something like a dream, like somewhere in that weird dream space, there's a possibility.
Is it interdimensional where they enter your dreams somehow?
Maybe something, I don't know. There's something in our brain, I believe, that you can unlock something.
Some sort of gateway.
Something, because DMT, like people have the same experiences on DMT. They see like the praying mantis figures or like the elves and stuff.
That is, and people do this willingly.
Yeah.
Let me tell you,
it's
I would love to do DMT someday.
And
it makes me very nervous, though.
But yeah, I was gonna say, for like, you would want to be in a reality where this praying mantis is coming after you or trying to attack you.
But it's not scary. They like share. They're just sharing information with you and stuff.
Well, that's all right. That sounds okay.
I don't know. Well, my brain doesn't need any of that.
Yeah, you don't.
Yeah. Right.
No.
You stay in this reality. and I'm with you. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm not going to be fucking taking DMT.
I really feel like I'd like to try ayahuasca someday, too. All that stuff
you
makes me really nervous. So,
Like, you want to go to Des Moines or
Iowa?
yeah,
Ayahuasca.
like I'll get you. I'll rent you an Airbnb if you want to go to Des Moines, man. You can cross that state off your bucket list.
Sure.
No problem.
No, I've been to Iowa. It's not that great.
I have too. I've been to Waterloo. I'm so mad at myself that I think I've told this before. I stayed in Waterloo, like passing through for one night. And at the time, I did not know like the Wrestling Hall of Fame is in Waterloo, Iowa.
Damn.
No, I think it was more amateur wrestling. But I think it tilted into like NWA type stuff.
Yeah.
Could have went.
Missed opportunity.
Missed
pal.
opportunity. What are you going to do?
I'm going to go back.
I think that was the same night that I was at the hotel and hanging out in the hot tub all by myself at the hotel pool, waiting till midnight, because at midnight that night, I drove to the Walmart and bought the new AC/DC album. I believe it was Black Ice, which would have been like 08, 09.
The charmed life you lead, friend.
Back when CDs were a thing. Had to get that CD.
So the hypnosis sessions were done by Bud. They took place in Bud's office. This is a really big story. Bud's book, Witnessed, is 300 pages of this stuff. A lot of transcripts from everything. But a lot of it is cut and dry abduction stuff. Implants, all the sexual shit, the fertilization, alien human hybrid stuff. We'll talk about it later. The one thing that was different is that she said that the beings got angry with her because she was screaming something that one told her to shut up.
Yeah.
Inside the craft, they were covering her mouth and stuff, trying to get her to shut up. And she kept saying that they said knobby egg to her.
Oh.
She doesn't know what that meant.
Knobby egg.
These ones are weird, these aliens, because typically they're peaceful.
Yeah.
And they just telepathically tell you, calm down.
It's okay.
Betty had the needle put in her belly button. The being put his hand over her stomach and it stopped hurting. These ones...
Yeah, they're generally very nice.
These ones are holding her down and covering her mouth and
Fucking rude.
telling her to shut up. And knobby egg.
Knobby egg.
New York aliens.
What did come out through the hypnosis sessions was more about that lump in her nose and that they were actually taking something out of her nose.
Does that suggest that they had put it in there prior years before and they were coming back?
Right.
Okay.
In February of 1991, Bud Hopkins received a letter signed by two men, Richard and Dan. They claimed to be police officers who had witnessed something extraordinary on the night of Linda's abduction. Richard and Dan said that they were patrolling near FDR Drive early that morning when they saw a woman floating in midair, surrounded by three small figures. Their letter read in part, quote,
There was an oval-shaped object hovering over the top of the apartment building 2 or 3 blocks up from where we sat. We didn't know where it came from. It happened too fast. Its lights turned from bright reddish orange to a whitish blue coming out of the bottom. Green lights rotated around the edge of the saucer. A little girl or woman wearing a white gown sailed out of the window in a fetal position and then stood in midair in this beam of light. I could see 3 of the ugliest creatures I ever saw. I don't know what they were. They weren't human. Their heads were out of proportion, very large heads with no hair. Those buggers were escorting her into the craft. My partner screamed, "We have to go get them." We tried to get out of the car but couldn't. After the woman was escorted in, the oval turned reddish orange and whisked off.
Buggers.
I like that one, buggers.
So they tried to open their car doors and that was locked.
So Bud is like, to him at this point, this is fucking crazy now because this corroborates what she's saying.
How did these guys find Bud? Had he already publicized her case in some way?
No.
Interesting.
It was all kayfabed.
Yes. Linda's story was getting pretty cookie cutter. That's why I didn't include a ton of stuff about the hypnosis and stuff
Sure.
before, because it's a very cookie cutter.
We've heard it before.
Right. Then this letter gets sent, and it's no longer cookie cutter. This is the abduction story of the century, because 2 police officers watched her float out of her window.
Lucky she didn't fall 12 stories up. That's all I'm going to say.
That would have been that. That would have been the end of the episode.
That'd have been it. Suspect we wouldn't be covering that one. Just be a tragic tale of a lady falling off a building.
Richard and Dan were hesitant to meet with Bud in person. They were worried about their safety and had zero interest in becoming public figures, but they wanted Bud to know what they had witnessed. Dan especially seemed to be emotionally wrecked, and Richard said that he was struggling to keep it together.
Well, like you don't see every day someone floating out their window with aliens?
Yeah, he was really like...
Get it together, fellas.
Well, he was having like that guilt, like, oh, we should have done something more about this.
Yeah. What exactly would you do? I'd love to know.
You get a lasso and you throw it in her feet and you pull her back down.
The Yellowstone mashup version.
Yeah.
Yeah, really, like, what the fuck, Dan? What are you going to do about it?
Shoot at it? Ping, pew, 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 pew.
A few days after Bud received the letter from Richard and Dan, Linda called and told Bud that Richard and Dan had showed up at her apartment. They were super emotional when meeting her, especially Dan, who even dropped to his knees and started crying when he saw that Linda was okay.
No. I thought he was going to give her cunnilingus. Welcome her back to Earth.
What if he did? What if he just like dropped?
I need to check your vagina and perform cunnilingus on you to make sure you're okay from the alien probing.
From there, they had coffee and talked about everything that happened that night. But as they kept visiting Linda, Richard and Dan's attitude shifted from concern to something more troubling, a little darker. In one conversation, Richard admitted neither he nor Dan were actually cops. They were actually CIA agents protecting a high-profile political figure, and hinted that her abduction wasn't just like a one-off thing, that it's part of a bigger government cover-up, which is the thing that you joked about earlier with Eisenhower allowing humans to be abducted. We're getting into that kind of stuff. Cover up for that.
Who's the high profile person? 1989? I think it was Dan Quayle. Dan Quayle was an alien, perhaps. He didn't know how to spell potato, if you remember.
I think that might be a good guess.
Is that for real?
Yeah, he was doing a vice president thing, and he was at a spelling bee. Not a spelling bee, but at a school or something. A kid wrote potato on the board. And he's like, no, you need an E at the end of theirs. And the kid's looking at him like, what are you, an imbecile? like he made the kid write an E at the end of potato.
What are you, a politician? I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
I think that was it.
It was something like that.
Something
I don't
like
remember
that.
the specific.
Pretty close, I think. So maybe he was the successor to Eisenhower, and he took over the probing program.
Got a little too probed.
Yeah, perhaps.
Got a faulty brain on it.
Sucked his brain out.
Potato. Huh? You spell it one way, I'll spell it mine.
That's right.
Then Bud received another letter marked on the envelope, confidential, Brooklyn Bridge. This came from a retired telephone operator who Bud gave the alias Janet Kimball. She claimed to have been driving over Brooklyn Bridge when her car stopped and the lights went out. Like, you know, in classic alien stories, everything just stalls all of a sudden.
Time stops, right?
Yep.
Everything stops.
She saw a brightly lit object over a building, and although the light was so bright, she had to shield her eyes. She was able to see 4 figures emerge from a window and move into the object. Janet reported that the other drivers whose cars stopped were running around on the bridge, screaming and panicking. So right now with this letter, we're now at 23 people in total have allegedly witnessed this abduction that night.
Is Bud the one that puts this 23 number out?
Yes.
All right. I'm really confused how these people all find Bud if he hasn't written the book on it yet or anything. Is he just the guy? Like everyone in New York and the alien community knows him, and word gets back. And, well, you saw something like this. You got to go talk to Bud. Bud's the guy.
Yeah, I mean, and
That might be it.
The UFO literature or books at this time are pretty popular. I mean, they were selling well. It's not like UFO stuff today where it's kind of, well, I guess it's more acceptable today, but books were selling really well back then.
So people were aware of Bud.
Like Whitley Strieber sold the fuck out of his book
true.
Communion,
Sure.
and that's right in the same time frame as well.
So if I'm in the city, I see something like this, I would say my best bet would be talk to Bud, because if anyone knows about this, it's Bud Hopkins.
Yeah, they were doing like the talk show circuits and shit.
That makes sense.
When you're in distress, you call your bud.
That's right. Bud can help you.
I like to think the key is like those billboards around town, like, hey, don't forget, call your bud. It's got like a UFO on it, but it's it's like us with those fucking Tim Misney billboards around town.
Right. Was Bud a billboard? Billboard Bud?
He should be.
Seems like a billboard guy.
He should be. Tim Misney is a local attorney, defense attorney, right? No,
Yeah, well,
is he all the above?
Some kind of
and just
attorney.
hokey billboards all over town. He'll make them pay.
he likes to make them pay.
Yeah.
Richard and Dan continued to write Bud as well, and they talked about being connected to the CIA and a high-ranking political figure who had also witnessed the abduction. And this person, also this high-ranking public official, they start writing a letter too, and they become known as the third man.
Really?
Yes.
Is it Dan Quayle? Come on, be honest. It's gotta be.
Bud started to suspect that the figure might be Javier Perez de Cuellar, the UN Secretary General at the time. Bud pushed this really hard into the public. So at this point in the story, he is going to like the MUFON meetings or like the UFO world stuff. Like he's putting it out there. He has this story and like the third man has been writing him and he thinks it is Javier Perez. He tried to get Javier to talk about this case in public and be like a part of Bud's book, but Javier did not want to be a part of this. Yeah, no, he had no interest in it.
The UN Secretary General didn't want to talk to Bud about aliens, people floating out windows in the city.
What's he hiding? What's he hiding?
Everything, apparently.
If you had nothing to hide, why not just talk about it?
Spill the beans, Javier. That's a cool name, but my favorite Secretary General name was Boutros Ghali. It's a cool name. Remember that guy? Boutros Ghali?
I do not.
I'm seeing blank stares here, so I'm guessing.
no.
I do
Never
not.
heard of that guy.
No. It's not a bad name. When you have your own name twice in your name, that's pretty
Exactly.
awesome.
Like Sirhan.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to call him a badass, but the name, I get it. He was a little pipsqueak.
Richard started to send more letters to Bud. So just on his own, these were the ones before Dan was like included on. They were writing those together.
Co-authored.
Yeah. These ones from Richard were talking more and more about how Dan was spiraling out of control. He said Dan had developed an unhealthy obsession with Linda, like romantically. He was apparently spying on her from a white van that was parked near her apartment. Linda had noticed the van but didn't realize it was connected to Dan.
Probably said Jim's refrigeration. That's why.
And Richard was starting to get worried about Linda's safety because of how Dan was acting.
He should have just put a couch halfway out of his van and be like, "Can you help me get this couch? Can you help me get this couch in the van?" I heard that works. Put a fake sling on your arm. Yeah, that works.
On an October morning in 1991, Linda stepped out of her apartment and bumped into Richard and Dan. Unlike their usual calm selves, Dan seemed really desperate and jumpy, like he was really on edge. Before Linda knew it, they forced her into their car. They drove her out of the city to a secluded beach house on Long Island. Once at the beach house, Dan's behavior got super weird. He insisted that Linda change into a white nightgown, like the one that she wore on the
It's fucking creepy, dude.
Yeah.
Dan wants to do some reenacting and some probing, I think.
I think I'm doing some kink shaming right now. I don't mean to, but I'm doing a little bit of kink shaming.
Well, Richard's helping.
Yeah, I mean, he's not innocent in all this. Like,
You're going along with it, pal.
I'm just saying, it's kink shaming. Maybe it's the abduction part. I'm not quite on board with that.
You'll get there.
I mean, like them abducting her, taking her. You know, like you do what you want. If you want to get off to women in nightgowns, do it. But, you know, maybe not against their will.
it gets to be an issue.
A little bit of an issue. I think you can kink shame at that point.
That's fair. I'll allow it.
So she refused to put on the nightgown, and Dan grabbed her and started dragging her toward the beach. Linda fought against him, but Dan overpowered her. And once they were at the shore, Dan shoved her head into the icy water. Linda tried to break free, but Dan was too strong. And just as she was about to give up, Dan's grip mysteriously loosened, like some unseen force stepped in.
Wow.
It's pretty aggressive. He just tried to kill her.
Yeah.
He just tried to kill her.
Not really called for.
Linda was able to run away while Richard watched from a distance, and he actually was able to take a picture of this. I sent that picture.
Yeah, it's a great picture.
Oh, that's right. You did send the photos.
It's something. Richard couldn't help. He's just going to stand there and watch the murder take place and
Take that
snap
picture.
off some pics. Okay, Richard.
We'll post that. But he just started like after he took the picture, he started chasing after Linda, and trying to see you shaking.
That's a real picture, pal. Don't go disparaging that.
Okay.
That's photographic evidence.
Okay.
Oh, I see what you mean.
I didn't even know you were watching me in real time. I was actually looking up the photo, and I was like, what the fuck?
I'm going to use that for the Patreon post.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Ashley, you're right. I see what you mean there.
So Richard is, running after her, trying to get her to stop. When he caught up, he promised Linda that he could get Dan under control, that she'd be safe if she just came back to the house. So back at the house, Dan stayed in another room while Richard tried to calm things down, offered Linda dry clothes, and he was apologizing for how Dan was acting, but Linda just wanted to go home. And she was playing nice, hoping that, if she just went along with things, Richard would take her home. Because, taking this as if it's truth and it's in, how the book presents it, this is a super scary situation. They're just trying to fucking kill her.
Yeah. I'm going to just shoot her in the head and dump her in the water.
God damn, pal.
I mean, he drove her out there for something, right?
He was trying to do something.
Something. What's the plan here, Dick and Dan? Come on.
It's funny because I've been wanting to call them that too. Dick and Dan would have been a better name for this
Yeah, Dick and Dan.
comedic duo. Dick and Dan.
That could also be a singular name. Like if Dan wanted to be a porn star, Dick and Dan. It's my name. Don't wear it out.
Dick and Dan.
Dick and Dan. Dick and Down Dan.
It's almost I was say Dick and Dan is almost like a like an accent way to say like Dick and Down, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Dick and Dan.
Dick and Dan.
Dick and Dan at your
It's
service.
like the Australians say, like, oh, I'll give you the old Dick and Dan. Like, what? The old Dick and Dan. Who's Dick and who's Dan? No, the old Dick and Dan.
So the book we used for this, Witnessed by Bud, came out in 1996.
The book's called Witnessed by Bud.
It's just called Witnessed.
Oh,
Written by
I'm
Bud.
sorry. I read that weird. Yeah.
Written. But Bud.
That's right. God damn it. This was witnessed by me, Bud.
But like we said before, he went public with this pretty early within the UFO community, and then he like really went public with it at the yearly MUFON convention. There were 3 UFO researchers who weren't buying all of this, and they had contact with Linda, even Linda going behind Bud's back.
And these weren't like haters. These were just legit researchers that were like, this one sounds fishy.
Yeah, these were
They're not Philip Class.
no.
It's people that wanted the truth.
Yeah, they're UFO believers. They just wanted to research it. They were Joseph Stefla, Richard Butler, and George Hansen. As early as January 28th, 1992, Linda requested a meeting with Richard Butler, and on February 1st, 1992, Linda, Stefla, and Butler met in New York City. Linda provided additional details about her experiences, stuff that is not in the book Witnessed, that she didn't tell Bud, and she also asked them to not tell Bud about the fact that they met.
Red flag.
Yeah. So, yeah, like I said, Bud had put this out into the world, into like the UFO community and within people. But he really went public with it after she had already met with these guys at the 1992 MUFON convention. And these guys were at the convention, and as they're sitting there listening to Bud talk about this and what Linda would say, because she was also at the convention, they started to notice a lot of contradictions in what she had told them. To clear things up, they reached out to Bud, who initially said that he wouldn't talk about it until his book was done. Still, they all ended up meeting on October 3rd, 1992. Stefla and Butler were especially surprised by how Bud and Linda acted about Linda's supposed kidnapping by Richard and Dan in really fucking attempted murder.
Yeah.
Linda got more specific with them, and she claimed that in April of 1991, she ran into Richard near her place, and he told her to get into the car at gunpoint. When she refused, Richard picked her up and, after a struggle, forced her into the car. Linda said she was driven around for 3.5 hours, grilled about aliens, and asked about if she was working for the government. She also claimed that they told her to take her shoes off to check if she had toes because, according to Richard and Dan, aliens didn't have toes. So that was like part of their way of...
How about that?
Yeah.
Was that a new theory or is that common?
I've never heard that before.
No toes.
No talk of alien toes in general, I guess, right?
I've never heard. This is the first time hearing about it.
Yeah. Well, like when you see grays, they're not often dressed. Maybe sometimes they are. Like I wonder if are they wearing shoes, boots?
Yeah, they're usually wearing like a little
Something. That's
jumpsuit, like
true.
onesie type
So
outfits.
You don't even think to like what their feet look like.
Can you get this on the MUFON agenda? Investigative calendar, something, so we can learn more about this?
Like what like what's going on with aliens?
Yeah, the
feet?
status with alien toes. I want to know.
Yeah, where are we at? Where do we stand? Where does MUFON stand on alien toes?
I'm a foot guy, and I look forward to interplanetary love. And if aliens don't have toes, I'm a little disappointed.
He's not going to be into that. My client's not going to be into aliens if they don't have toes.
Yeah.
That's what we're getting at.
What are you like sucking on nubs? Like what's down there? Nobody wants that. I want toes. Come on. Fucking aliens.
Let's not get. We don't know. Let's not blame them.
I would like MUFON to investigate. I'd like it to be put on the
Maybe they
agenda for 2025 in the investigative calendar to determine the validity of this claim.
That's fair. Maybe they have 10 toes per foot, and you got more options.
That's fantastic.
That.
It's a lot of toe sucking.
I could play the old tickle the inside of your mouth game.
The three of these researchers, they had, some pretty basic questions about this. One, why not reach out to the police over this kidnapping incident? Because the version that Linda told them is even more ramped up. It's at gunpoint, so it's even more aggressive. Why has no one other than Linda ever had eyes on Richard and Dan?
I think it's a great question.
Bud heard Richard's voice on a tape cassette recording, but for the most part, Bud was only communicating with Richard and Dan through letters. The 23 witnesses, all through letters. The other thing that they didn't love is when they spoke with Bud, it was kind of like a weird Sopranos thing where members of MUFON were there like they were the muscle or something. Like they were standing in the corner of the room for no apparent reason as David Jacobs, Walter Andrus, and Jerome Clark. Jacobs was one of the top UFO abduction researchers at the time. Andrus was the head of MUFON at the time, and Clark was one of the more popular authors regarding UFOs.
Take it easy.
Trying to calm things down in the room.
Incredible. You got that audio from it.
Yeah.
That's from the meeting.
Yeah, that's from the meeting.
Yeah.
I think I have audio of Tony talking about Linda, too, at the meeting.
It's a gorgeous piece of coos.
Wow.
Coos. Weird word.
It's a very strange word.
I'm on the last season of my rewatch.
Really?
The last season's like 109 episodes, but I'll get through it.
During this meeting where the MUFON guys are acting like the muscle, a question came up about a financial deal between Linda and Bud. Stuffwell mentioned that Linda had told him about a profit-sharing agreement with Bud for a book. Bud denied any such deal, and Linda later said that she intentionally told this lie. I'm not exactly sure why, what the motive would be to to purposely lie about that, but
Yo, why are you lying?
it's a weird one too because there's no good reason for it, and she's like, "Nah, I lied about that."
Of all the things like you're gonna admit to, they're just like, oh, okay. They're like, anything else? Anything else you lied about?
However, the biggest find by these three researchers wasn't just the fact that Linda was, willing to tweak her story depending on who was listening, but it was the fact that while Linda was reading Intruders, another book was released called Night Eyes. This was a science fiction novel by Garfield Reeves Stevens. And there's a lot of similarities in Night Eyes compared to what has been going on in this story.
Very interesting.
So let's get into the similarities to Night Eyes. In the book, Night Eyes, the abductee, her name is Wendy, and Derek and Meryl are the agents in this book. Linda was abducted into a UFO hovering over a high-rise apartment in New York City. Wendy was abducted into a UFO hovering over a high-rise in New York City.
Hey, what's going on here?
Dan and Richard claimed to have been, doing this stakeout and they witnessed everything happen. Early in Night Eyes, two government agents were on a stakeout and became involved in a UFO abduction during the very early morning hours. Witnessed Wendy be abducted. Linda was kidnapped and thrown into a car by Richard and Dan. Wendy was also kidnapped and thrown into a van by Derek and Meryl. Linda claimed to have been under surveillance by someone in a van. Vans were used for surveillance in Night Eyes. Dan was hospitalized for emotional trauma. That's something that I forgot to bring up earlier. That same scenario plays out in Night Eyes. Dan and Richard, when they kidnapped Linda, they took her to that beach house in Long Island. The safe house that Wendy was taken to in Night Eyes was also on a beach.
Oh, you don't say.
Before her kidnapping, Linda contacted Bud about her abduction. We know we went over all that stuff. In the story Night Eyes, Wendy contacts Charles Edward Starr about her abduction. We know Bud Hopkins is a prominent UFO researcher living in New York City. In the book Night Eyes, Charles Edward Starr is a prominent UFO abduction researcher living in New York City.
I'm starting to question this one.
The pictures that were taken of Linda on the beach that were provided to Bud Hopkins, that's also something that happened in Night Eyes. There were pictures taken on the beach that played a big role in that story. In the final report put out about debunking this story, there's something that was said that really stuck out to me, because I was thinking the other night that there really aren't UFO adventures anymore. Like all the books from the 70s, 80s, and into the 90s read like action novels sometimes. Like there's all kind of shit going on. This quote's interesting. It's kind of fucking blew my mind.
This is from the report.
This is from the debunking report.
Do these leaders really believe, as they said, that they accepted the report of attempted murder? If so, they seem not to have acted as responsible citizens. We believe that other motivating factors and concepts provide a better explanation for understanding these seemingly bizarre actions. We would suggest that perhaps, at some semi-conscious level, these individuals do not really believe their UFO investigations to be fully engaged with the real world. Rather, their behavior and statements seem more consistent with something like fantasy role-playing, perhaps akin to the game Dungeons & Dragons. Both ufology and D&D allow direct, immediate involvement with powerful other worlds, beings, and mythological motfits. Both endeavors have been known to overtake, possess the participants, though only occasionally to their detriment. Most players are able to successfully detach themselves from involvement, but occasionally the game became obsessive and interferes with real-world pursuits. This role-playing taps archetypal images that hold great psychological power. The archetypes can become immensely attractive, even addictive to those playing the game. In the Napolitano case, the otherworld figures include not only the ET aliens, but also the pantheon of agents of an unreachable, evil government conspiracy determined to prevent humankind's knowledge of the ETs. Intermediaries between flesh and blood humans and the powerful masters of the mystical higher orders are ubiquitous in the realms of religion. Angels and devils serve the centers of ultimate good and evil. So here we see the largely invisible minions, Dan and Richard, and the mysterious witness on the bridge furthering the cause of truth. Likewise, Hopkins discerns the skeptical investigators as agents of a secular Satan. Thus, the interactions of Hopkins et al. With these players are seen to conform to the rules that historically control the interactions between humans and gods. Humans question and provoke the gods only at the greatest peril. The proper approach is to appease, mollify, and supplicate these entities. It should be no surprise that the simplest reality tests of the Napolitano story were not made in this case. Hopkins' failure to check the weather conditions during the abduction actually makes sense in the context of this cult-like thought process. The roles of high priest and acolytes are only too obvious when examining the behaviors of personages Hopkins, Clark, Jacobs, and Andrus. These aging white males patronizingly refer to Linda's average intellect, perhaps to reassure themselves that they are indeed in control. Yet the high priestess has, in effect, achieved the godhead, metaphorically speaking, of course.
That is very, very interesting.
Okay, so it blew my mind because the story sounds so silly, right? But Bud Hopkins was completely all in on this. Like he wrote a whole fucking book on it. And I was trying to think of early internet days because AI has ruined everything for me. Like there's no fun on the internet anymore as far as like getting into creepy, weird shit. It's just not possible anymore.
Yeah.
But like old, like early 4chan days where there'd be like some creepy thread and you're waiting for like another picture to be posted or something. I would get like real into it, and probably most of it's role playing. Like there's not, like, some of that shit's not fucking real. You know what I mean? But it's like,
I know what you mean.
But like I'm really into it. I'm like, I can't wait for, somebody else to post something else. So like take the internet out of that, and you getting letters showing up from a Richard and Dan, and you're just all in on this.
It's the same as today. I mean, I think the bottom line is most people lead mundane, boring lives. And when things like this happen, I think you look past the fact that it's not real, and it adds excitement to your life. It's the same thing with QAnon or anything like that. It makes your life more interesting. It's not real, but you don't really care, right? You're suspending
Something to buy
disbelief.
into just to add some excitement.
Yeah.
Something new to your life.
The D&D comparison is very interesting. And we talked about before, remember the after school movie with Tom Hanks when he got lost in the D&D world and his mind just turned to mush and he didn't
like his
believe
first
reality
movie?
anymore. Yeah.
That's what happens.
That's what happens when you mess around with satanic stuff.
And then it comes full circle in Castaway when he's lost on an island and he loses
right.
sense of reality. And his friend is a Wilson volleyball.
I was like, we've been here before. Remember D&D?
Just a fucking fantastic movie.
One was a prison of your mind. One was a prison of a geographical island separated by oceans. But it's really the same, isn't it?
Like, I wonder if there is a UFO story happening like this right now. Like, there's no books written about UFOs like this anymore.
Why?
Right.
Yeah.
I think that no one why would you have to role play anymore? Right. You just fucking come up with AI to do something for you.
But like, how does that make you feel then? Like in the scheme of like, maybe all of this was just role playing, all of it. And we really have no true alien UFO or abduction stories. Like as someone who's always been into it. And I know most of them you're like, yeah, that's fucking bullshit. But there's some that, I mean, we've all agreed that are like, oh, like fire in the sky. Or like how we think that might have happened.
Yeah, but do the believable ones fall into that same category? Like,
No,
this
I
is
don't think so.
clearly not real.
But if one falls into this category, doesn't that open the door that they maybe all just kind of do?
I think the majority of them do. UFO books have to be taken with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
It was just interesting to how I was thinking about it the other night about how there's none of these like grand stories anymore. And then at the same time reading this D&D comparison, like, oh, well, okay. That makes sense. We're all just role playing.
Next, you're going to tell me Cody Rhodes is not the real world champion. Get the fuck out of here, man. Come on.
It was Richard Doty, right? With like 10% of whatever you see is real.
That's what he
I think you
says.
can equate that over to here a little bit.
And he claims that the crazier the shit is the truer of the stuff because that muddies everything up even more.
No.
Did he claim that with life or with
Alien stuff.
aliens? Because I almost think that might be true with life. And I don't mean that in the sense of like the 10% maybe of what you see online is probably true. Whether it's like the Facebook ads or a headline that now, without even like clicking the article, you're like, oh, this is what I believe. 10%.
It is sad you can't believe in anything anymore. Like nothing's real anywhere.
You just
Can't
you
trust
have to question
anything.
everything.
And in turn, you have to question every person. Like you can't trust anybody ever.
Well, if there's one thing I learned from Stone Cold Steve Austin, it's DTA, don't trust anybody.
Yeah, we've known that since like sixth grade.
I've been preaching that since I was 12 years old.
There you go.
He was ahead of the game. He's right, God damn it.
Is Linda still around?
No, unfortunately not.
She went to that big oyster clam ship
Oyster
in the
clam in the
sky.
sky.
Yeah.
I'm going to start referring to that big oyster clam in the sky. It just opened up right for me. Let me right in.
Yeah, you got to rub the top of it. It opens the door.
No, let's not get stupid.
So there's debates on this story, aside from the people who believe in all of this blindly. The majority of people in the UFO world believe that Richard and Dan are real, but this was a disinformation campaign. Something like what Richard Doty would do.
Yeah.
And Linda and Bud were gullible enough to take the bait, which could be true. I mean, I don't know. We know from the Paul Benowitz story when we did that 3-parter on UFO disinformation that Richard Doty did some really crazy stuff to push his narrative. This explanation also fits in with the majority who believe that Linda couldn't have come up with all of this on her own and fooled Bud, because it's not that she's not creative enough to come up with it or smart enough. The amount of letters, I feel like doing an hour podcast on it doesn't justify the amount of letters that were written in this story. It's fucking crazy. If it was Linda doing all of this on her own, there's, something's really wrong going on behind the scenes with her. There's a Netflix documentary coming out about this story soon. And based off the trailer, it looks like it's going to be taking the angle that Linda was behind all of it. So that's something that's not really out there too much. So it'll be interesting to see what evidence is presented that says that it was her. It looks like the majority of this is from Bud's ex-wife that she's doing the documentary.
Okay.
Yeah, so it'll be an interesting documentary. Sure, we'll do an OT about it when it comes out.
Is Bud alive?
No.
And is it his widow or an ex-wife?
Ex-wife.
But she's pro Bud.
Yeah, I don't think that it's not.
Because, like you said, it's kind of protecting him.
Yeah.
And putting the blame on Linda for this.
I feel like to be a legitimate UFO researcher, though, you would have to be aware of this. What's it called? Night eyes, and be flagging the similarities in these two stories. And it just shows he has a blind spot with all this and probably isn't very objective.
Bud Hopkins is like a Whitley Strieber. And he's a personality. He's not a real scientist or anything.
So researcher might not be.
Yeah.
Kind of a showman.
Propagandist.
I'm a researcher, right? In the same way that I'm a researcher.
I'm a researcher.
An expert. Like how History Channel always has experts on that aren't experts in what they're talking about.
But you're more of a researcher than Bud Hopkins would be. Because at least you're going to call it more down the line. You're not going to blindly believe most of this shit.
Yeah, it's true. I think Bud was just caught up in all of this. And if I didn't know the angle that this Netflix documentary would be taking, I would end on that. I think that this was a disinformation campaign that was ran against Bud, because in our disinformation episodes that we did with Paul Benowitz, there was the whole side saga that happened with him with that woman named Myrna Hansen.
Yeah.
That he just randomly met. She had been abducted by UFOs, and she actually came to live with him, and she was staying in his house. And remember, he put tinfoil around his car and stuff, and put her inside it.
Sure.
And she was definitely in on that. She was definitely one of Doty's people. Like, she was in on that.
Do we feel like Linda's the inside person here?
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, that's what I would have went with, because just the volume of letters and stuff.
Do we feel like maybe Bud hit a nerve with the Copley Woods or something, and that dispatched the powers that be? We're like, all right, we gotta
make him look stupid.
And validate this guy as an expert in the field. Make him look stupid, right?
Because for all the role-playing silliness that comes with UFO stories back in the 80s, and stuff, there are for real things like Paul Benowitz that are, super serious. There's a lot of money spent in driving Paul Benowitz crazy and making him look like a fool.
Yeah.
That is Linda's story.
I do not believe this story.
No, not for a second. But I'm really curious whether she's the one that was facilitating all this, or if someone a little higher up the food chain had her
She was a patsy.
do this. A patsy, sure. Not
She
sure
didn't
we're
really-
ever gonna know.
She didn't really give too many interviews. That didn't last very long. Her husband was a part of a couple. And she would like correct him and stuff. Like he didn't know how to play it well.
What?
Yeah.
He's like, I'm just trying to live my life. Like, I'm just a banker. I just want to retire.
Yeah, she says she floated out the window. I don't know. I was asleep
He's
conveniently.
like, I wish you never came back.
I can see the hoax, the theory about her hoaxing it. If it was her herself, is like when the story becomes cookie cutter and it seems like maybe Bud's not very interested in her story anymore, you know? So then Richard and Dan come along.
Ramp it up. It makes sense to me.
Yeah, we'll see.
It is
see
what
what
it
kind of
is, I
evidence
suppose,
is presented in the future about it. But it's a cool story. Go grab Bud's book about it.
Witnessed.
It's got a sweet
Not witnessed
alien.
by Bud. It's just called Witnessed. Bud wrote it.
Yeah. Authored by.
It'd be cool if it was just witnessed by Bud. Like, but he doesn't mean like it was witnessed by Bud. It was just authored by Bud. There's a little play on words, and he's like, "Huh? I'll let you figure it out." Just like you will never figure out my name's Elliot. Ian, anything else you found in your research? Anything else we should touch on real quick?
No, I think we got everything.
Dave, anything on your end?
No, sir. I will flat out deny that this ever happened, but
We're
I'd
all-
really be curious as to the behind the scene mechanics of how this went down.
I think it's really rare. Like thinking back, is there ever an alien one that any of us disagree on? I feel like we're either all one way or another on these. I can't
Typically.
remember one where one of us is like, I kind of believe this, and the other ones are like, no, I don't believe that.
I feel like they're self-evident most of the time.
Yeah, I think so.
We're experts in the field at this
Well,
point.
by now,
we
it's
know
been
what
5.5
the fucking
years.
deal is here.
Come on.
Can't get one by on us.
We can spot a Fugazi a mile away.
A fugazi.
Too much Sopranos. What do we get on Patreon, Dave?
Thank you, new patrons Katie Mock or Matey Cock.
I felt like he was stroking out for a minute. I'm not sure.
Better late than pregnant. That's true. Samantha Christensen. I only joined to get my Ian fix down by the creek.
You're in luck.
All right. There's a lot of that these days.
Yeah.
There has been a lot of crick
Yeah.
talk.
Hey, fuck off. Jessica Kane. Nothing. Triple H's thick rod going into Katie Vick.
That's very uncalled for.
Lizzie, Corey Two Boots, Seth Bagwell, Cuckleberry Finn, Mike Dominico, Keaton, Rebecca Hetherington, Amy C., and finally Murder Face. Thank you, new patrons.
Ian, what do you got on your end?
On Straight Edge, this past week, you just did the Isdol woman.
That's
Dave.
true. That's a weird story. I like it.
It's a very strange one. So go check that out. Promised Land is out there as well.
Promised Land still out there, ready to be listened to in full, beginning to end. New Necro Straight Edge every Wednesday. Go check that out. Dave did the Isdol Woman, and Ian had a two-parter on Israel Keys. Go check those out. You can keep up with Necro Straight Edge on Instagram at Cool Down Media LLC. Necronomapod is available on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Patreon.com/Necronomapod for all of the bonus content. Tons of bonus content at this point. You can go back years and years and years and years and
That's
years.
true.
It's all there. Amazon.com, search Necronomapod for all of our merch, and Necronomapod.com.
All right, you guys ready for a cool down beer?
Cheers.